Hey guys, I'm Shreyas and today we're in the third day of the August Lead Coding Challenge, and the question for today is subsets of the second version. So given an integer array nums, we have to generate all the possible subsets of this array, and return the power set in the sense the collection of all subsets. So we have to return the power set of this array. So, and the extra constraint in this second version is that the power set should not contain any duplicate subsets. So even though the array may contain duplicate elements, all the subsets generated must be unique. So that is the additional constraint that we have. For example, in this array we have 1, 2 and 2. Over here 2 repeats twice, and we know the size of the power set is 2 power n minus 1, 2 power n including the empty subset. So in this problem the size of the power set should be 8, but we have only 6 subsets over here. That's because we are not including the repetitive subsets. For example, 2 occurs twice, but we have it only once over here, and the pair 1 comma 2 occurs twice, again we have it only once over here, and hence the total size of the subset is 6 and not 8. So that is the problem statement, and now the constraint is like very small, so that gives hints to use a exponential solution for this problem. So yeah, so basically there are two versions of the solution. One is the iterative version and one is the recursive version. We'll go through both of them. So let me start with the iterative version of the exponential solution. So the basic idea in both the solution is to generate all possible subsets, and so only the way differs, whether we are doing the recursion with recursion or without recursion, all those things. So in the iterative version, we know for a size of array n there are 2 power n subsets, right? So hence I am just iterating from 0 to 2 power n minus 1, and over here I will contain n bits. So over here n bits represent the n elements of the array. So I contains n bits, and we are going through all the indices of the array element from 0 to n minus 1, and if the jth bit is set in I, then we include that element in the current subset. Otherwise we don't include that element in the current subset. And so after this inner for loop is executed, we'll have one subset ready for us, one subset ready, and I'm sorting that subset and inserting them in a set. So the reason I'll explain later, but first let us understand the logic better, how it works, how iterating from 0 to 2 power n works. So for example, we have an array of 3 elements. Now initially in the first for loop we iterated from 0 to n minus 2 power n minus 1, right? So we start from 0, 0, 0, 0, and then we go to 2 power n minus 1, that is 7. So in binary representation 7 is like 3 ones, right? So we go from 0 to 7, and all of them have 3 bits, right? These 3 bits represent the array elements. So suppose this is the value of I. What it means is we are just naming it, like 0 is the first element, the second bit is the second element, third bit is the third element. So over here the second bit and third bit is set. So it means in the current subset these two, the second and third element, should be included. So this subset will be composed of the second and the third element. Over here only the second bit is set, so this subset should only contain the second element, and over here we should contain all the elements. So that's how we generate uniques. That's how we generate all the subsets by iterating from 0 to 2 power n minus 1, because the size of the power set is 2 power n, and we are iterating from 0 to 2 power n minus 1. We are covering all the possible subsets that can be generated. So that is the main logic in this iterative version. But this part does not take care of how to eliminate duplicates. So in order to ensure that there are no duplicate subsets, we have to rely on some other data structure. Over here I'm using a set data structure where it contains only unique subsets. So whatever subset is generated, right, CUR is the current subset. So I'm inserting the current subset into the set, and at the end the set will ensure that all the subsets are unique. And after iterating through both the for loops, we come out of the outer for loop, and then I'm transferring all the subsets from the set to a vector, and then I'm returning it back. So that was the logic for this iterative version. In this, the time complexity is 2 power n into n. The first for loop is 2 power n, and the inner for loop is n. And regarding the space complexity, I know it's a bit of roundabout way to do it, because we have to take care that there are no duplicates. But it's quite simple. In C++, it is a simple implementation because there is an inbuilt data structure for it. Over here as well, the space complexity is 2 power n into 2 power O of n into 2 power n itself, because the set may contain up to 2 power n subsets, and if each subset is like too large, like the average size is quite huge, we can just approximate it to n, the size of each subset, and hence the overall space complexity will become O of n into 2 power n. So that was the approach for the iterative version of the problem. And next, so the advantage is that the code is really short and easily understandable, and everything is simple in this iterative version. So next we'll look at the recursive version. So the recursive version is again based on the same exponential thing only, same as the iterative version, but over here we'll be using backtracking to do the recursion, obviously. But the difference from that of the iterative version is that in the iterative version we knew that for each iteration which element should be included in the subset and which element should be excluded. But over here we don't know any such thing. For each element we just give two choices, that it can be included or it can be excluded. So for a particular choice of a particular element, we'll explore all other possible choices for the remaining elements and generate all possible subsets. Yeah, so the basic thing is backtracking plus giving two choices for each element, that is included or excluded. So first, I'll just start explaining the code. I'm just calling the backtracking function for the 0th index, and for every function call I'm including the subset generated till that point, and I'm adding that to the power set. The first step is that only. I'm inserting the subset generated till now to the power set, and then I'm exploring other possibilities from the current index to the end of the array. I'll just explain it with an example to be more clear. So let's suppose this is the array we have. Now we are in the I'm calling the backtracking function for the 0th index, and now the subset, when I call the backtracking function for the 0th index, the subset is empty, and the first step that I do is insert the subset to the power set. So I insert this empty subset to the power set and then start my iteration from the 0th index till the end of the array. So that's the first step. That's the thing I do. And then over here, so now I insert the current element to the subset, and then I go to the second element. So as soon as I reach this, call the function for backtracking function for the second element, I push the currently generated subset to the power set. So now when I'm over here, the subset contains one element, that is 1. So I push this subset to the power set, and then later I insert 2, and then again I call the third index, and when I'm over here, the subset will contain 1, 2. Those are the previous values, and then I insert 1, 2 to the power set, and so it will go like that. And after everything is executed, so over here I'm just pushing it back, the normal backtracking thing only, there's nothing special. So I'm pushing the current element back to the subset, and I'm calling backtracking function for the next index. And after the backtracking, after this explores all possible options for the for all the remaining index from j+1 till n. Again, the function call will come over here and will execute the next statement. So the next statement is just to remove the added current element. So push back and pop back thing, that is the basic backtracking thing. So if we do like this, we'll ensure that we'll cover all the subsets. And to avoid duplicates, what we are doing is, if the current element is equal to the previous element, we are not including it, so that we don't get duplicate subsets in the future. So that's how we ensure that there are no duplicate subsets. And the rest of the thing is just the normal backtracking thing. So the time complexity for this approach is again 2 power n into n. 2 power n because each element has two choices, either to be included in the set or to be excluded. And n is because since we are iterating from almost throughout the array in every call, it accounts for another n in the time complexity. So the time complexity overall will become O of n into 2 power n, and the space complexity over here is O of n, because as the maximum depth of the recursion call can go till the last element as well. That's the recursive call, right? The depth of the recursion call can be very large, so it's like O of n only. We don't include this vector in the space complexity because this is what we return. So while in the algorithm analysis, we never include what we return as the we never add what we return to the space complexity, all those things. So this vector does not contribute anything to space complexity. So everything is contributed by the depth of the recursion stack only. So those were the two approaches with the recursion and the iterative version. And so yeah, let's meet tomorrow, guys, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you.